Hi, everybody. This is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your Sun and Rising Sign horoscopes for the month of September 2019. So this is the horoscope for Sagittarians. Put it up on the screen here so that you can see it. So this month is really a story of a big emphasis on Virgo. So that falls into your 10th house as a Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius sun. So you can see the big stellium right here is actually a new moon in Virgo that's happening on today as I'm recording this on August 30th. So the emphasis on the 10th house is just very strong all month long until almost the very end of the month it switches over and becomes very Libran. So let's see how this works. First of all, your 10th house is your career house. Something that most people don't know about the 10th house is that the 10th house was a house that typically involved, it was called karma or praxis. And it is said to also have this kind of dominating effect over the native in that whatever is happening in the 10th house, it exacts a toll and it makes you pay. It makes you do something. It makes you act in a certain way. It compels you. So it's as if the force of your karma in the 10th house pulls you to do certain things with your life. This is why we associate the 10th house with career. But in a bigger sense, it's really the 10th house is really the sort of journey of your life house, right? It's the house that really reflects this idea that you are going somewhere and doing something, that you have some kind of mission that you're on, and what you spend a lot of your time literally doing, that you feel like you have to do, or that fate just sort of dictates for you. That's why some people also associate the 10th house with calling, but it's not that, it's not always like that for everybody. But at any rate, so the idea of there just being a very strong sense of having to act, of responsibility, of duty, of work, of career matters, that's going to be really pronounced this month. There's a Mars Cazimi at the very beginning of the month in the sign of Virgo in the 10th house. That is, empowerment from superiors or authority figures, or wielding authority, power, and executive sort of almost like executive decision-making power with greater ease. It's possible to get promotions, to be given more responsibilities. Basically, just Mars Sun stuff, which often boils down to sort of strength of character and determination and power, as well as mastery, authority. And then with Mars being in a Mercury-ruled sign, you also have this idea of the analytical mind and just the power of the analytical mind. So that's really on display right now through the 10th house. Now, as the month goes on a little bit, you're going to see a few other transits that are pretty important here. At the beginning of the month, like the 3rd to the 5th, you're going to see Venus in your 10th house going through an opposition to Neptune. This is a kind of dreamy, otherworldly, romantic energy. You can also be a little intoxicated by this transit, so you're going to want to be careful about that, whether it's spending or romance or sex or drinking too much or just kind of going overboard in some way. You want to be careful, protect your boundaries a bit, but also watch for a moment where, the potential for that kind of lucky, charming, harmonious energy that can come through and just bless you with meeting the right person at the right time, or, having some, something beneficial happen to you, kind of just the dice just sort of roll your way. So that's Venus Neptune towards the very beginning of the month. Can also speak to the dichotomy between relationships that you have to tend to in the workplace and the challenges of diplomacy in the workplace, relationships in the workplace, as well as family matters or ancestral matters or issues at home. So the tension between the 10th and the 4th is quite pronounced this month. And you can see this again all month long, really, because all month long, all of these planets in Virgo are moving through oppositions to Neptune and Pisces in the 4th house of home, family, roots, parents, while also creating a T-square with Jupiter, your ruling planet, in your home sign of Sagittarius. So we could just, in some ways, every horoscope this month is just a story about this T-square. The Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that's been working for almost a year now has been in your 1st and 4th houses, which is to say that it has a lot to do with identity, confidence, and a kind of new chapter in your life, personal growth, personal focus, but also issues pertaining to roots, home, family, family karma, property, land. It's the year where you might be revisioning your life in some way, or trying to um, birth a kind of new vision of your future. But you're also running into the kind of stubborn worldly obligations, or you're running into doubt, skepticism, your worry about whether something is practical or not, or how to make something happen, how to translate the dream into a reality. um, so all of those are potential tensions that you're really experiencing again this month as Jupiter finishes its final square to Neptune, by the way, and that's happening between the 21st and 22nd of the month. So this T square really active all month long. The other thing you have to think about is with this particular T square with Jupiter as a sort of focal point in your first house, you're at something of a personal crossroads, right, between work and domestic matters, and questions about your identity. Like, who am I, and which direction do I really want to pursue? Jupiter Neptune again speaks to there being a vision, a hope, a faith, a sense of what's possible, and the desire to incarnate that, to bring it forth. But you have to make sure that it's real. And the Virgoan planets are either haters keeping you from it, or they're managers helping you move toward it with greater efficiency. You could think about it like that. All right, so then as the month goes on a little bit more, between the 8th and the 12th, look for a real boost of energy as Mars and the Sun will go through squares to Jupiter. This can be about your relation to authority or authority figures. It can be about promotion, personal growth, or gain in the workplace, or just real, again, energy of productivity and greater responsibility or even achievement is possible at this time. You want to be careful of grandiosity or arrogance, or wielding power in a way that's heavy-handed or too critical or something like that. Then between the 13th and the 15th, right around that time, you're going to see Venus and Mercury in Virgo in your 10th house jump into your 11th house. I like this in terms of the availability of allies or resources or people, like sort of harmonious and beneficial dealings at work or with colleagues, or even just finding favorable connections for collaboration. I also like the potential for just like making deals or agreements or negotiating or fixing something that's been broken. Also analyzing a problem and coming up with a solution. Also, the Mercury Venus transit is taking place right as the full moon is coming through. And where's the full moon? With Neptune back in your 4th house of home, family, roots. It's a deep emotional pull towards the topics of home, family, property, and roots this month. It peaks during the middle of the month, and that may be calling you in to explore the past or look at your emotional base in life, what you have to give and what you don't have to give, where you become a martyr and sacrifice or compromise too much of yourself, or where you might need more than is reasonable. So looking at those issues within yourself may be pronounced around the 14th when the full moon comes through. Then everything shifts. Like I said, the story really becomes all about Libra once you get into about the 23rd. The sun goes through the gateway of the fall equinox. Everything moves into the 11th house, at which point there is a real focus on friends, allies, groups, benefactors, all of those kind of the things or people in life that are sort of on our team. These are my people. This is the group. This is and maybe also an evaluation of who isn't your ally, or who your friends should and shouldn't be. So as this is taking place, right around the 25th and 26th, Venus and Mercury will square Saturn and Pluto. Could be a deeper theme around finances, money, income, and expenditures at that time. And then you want to look for the new moon in Libra around the 28th. That's also really emphasizing, again, the topic of friends, allies, groups, and so forth. Your social life may be going through some big changes toward the end of the month, or there could be, you could be looking very closely at different kinds of collaborations financially, or different kinds of business or kind of financial decisions that you have to make that are a little bit more serious. It's not an easy time right now for a lot of people, especially to the end of September. Is not going to be easy because that South Node Saturn combination is really forcing us to let go of things and to look at where we're stuck and where we're holding on, and also where we really have a desire to be free of something. And this Libran energy squaring all of that, Saturn, Pluto, South Node, and Capricorn, will provide us with an opportunity for some kind of karmic balancing moment. So, if things don't roll your way, try to accept things as much as you can, or as much as is healthy, with a positive attitude that something karmically is getting balanced, and it might be necessary. Something beautiful can still come out of it. Venus is still in Libra in the midst of all this. You still got Jupiter in your first house. You're going to be able to make something good out of anything that comes through that's either disappointing, or it doesn't turn out exactly as you hoped for, or limitations that you're experiencing with within relationships. These limitations are informative, they're instructive, and the way will open if you're feeling a little stuck or flustered by that energy toward the end of the month. So that's a pretty good take on the month of September. I look forward to hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or subscribe. That helps new people find my content. So thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you guys again, all of you Sagittarian Sun and rising signs, next month in October. Take care. Bye.